The silent habits that reveal someone is secretly wealthy. Have you ever met someone who looked completely ordinary only to discover later that they were worth millions? Most people believe wealth has a certain appearance. They imagine luxury cars, expensive watches, designer clothing, and giant mansions because that is what movies, social media, and advertisements have taught us to believe. Yet real life tells a very different story. Some of the wealthiest people in America walk through airports wearing simple clothes. They eat in quiet restaurants, they avoid showing off, and they rarely try to impress strangers. In fact, if you walk past many self-made millionaires on the street, you probably would never notice them because real wealth has a strange relationship with attention. The more money people truly have, the less interested they become in proving it. They understand that attention creates expectations, curiosity, jealousy, and unnecessary pressure. While the average person spends years trying to look successful, truly wealthy people spend years protecting the freedom their money has created. They know that money should buy peace, not popularity. They know that privacy is often worth more than luxury, and they understand something that most people never learn. The loudest person in the room is rarely the richest, and the richest person is often the one nobody notices. Today we are going to uncover the silent habits that quietly reveal someone is secretly wealthy. These are not habits you can buy overnight. They are behaviors shaped by years of financial discipline, emotional control, and a completely different way of thinking. Once you recognize these habits, you will begin to see successful people through an entirely new perspective, and you may even discover why so many people spend their whole lives chasing wealth without ever recognizing what real wealth actually looks like. Habit 1. They never feel the need to look rich. One of the first things you notice about people who have built genuine wealth is how little they care about looking wealthy. While many people believe success must be displayed through expensive possessions secretly, wealthy people often choose the exact opposite. They understand that appearances are temporary, but financial freedom can last for generations. Instead of buying things to impress strangers, they buy things that improve their lives. They prefer quality over famous brands, comfort over attention, and privacy over admiration. They know that every expensive purchase attracts opinions, expectations, and sometimes even unwanted relationships. The moment people believe you have money, they begin treating you differently. Some expect favors, others become jealous, while some simply start watching every financial decision you make. Truly wealthy people understand this human behavior better than anyone. They know that remaining ordinary gives them something priceless. It gives them freedom. They can walk into a coffee shop without attracting attention. They can travel without trying to prove their success. They can make financial decisions without worrying about what other people think. Their confidence does not come from expensive logos, luxury cars, or designer clothing, because confidence built on possessions disappears the moment those possessions are gone. Instead, their confidence comes from knowing they own assets, businesses, investments, and opportunities that continue working quietly in the background. Ironically, the people trying hardest to look rich are often the ones still chasing wealth, while the people who already possess real wealth rarely feel the need to announce it, because when money becomes a tool instead of an identity, silence becomes one of the strongest signs of financial success. Habit 2. They protect their privacy. People who quietly build wealth understand that privacy is one of the most valuable assets money can buy. While many people feel the need to share every promotion, every investment, every expensive purchase, and every financial achievement, secretly wealthy people usually choose silence. They know that the more information people have about your finances, the more influence they gain over your life. The moment someone discovers that you are financially successful, expectations begin to grow. Friends may expect generosity, family members may assume you can solve every financial problem, and strangers may begin judging your choices through the lens of your wealth. Instead of creating admiration, money often creates curiosity, comparison, and jealousy. Truly wealthy people understand human nature. They know that not everyone celebrates your success with genuine happiness. Some people become inspired while others become resentful, and some simply begin calculating what your success could do for them. That is why quietly wealthy people rarely discuss their income, their investments, or their net worth. They keep conversations focused on ideas, experiences, and relationships rather than numbers. They protect their financial life the same way they protect their home, because they understand that privacy creates freedom. When fewer people know what you own, fewer people feel entitled to it. This habit also protects their peace of mind. They spend less time explaining themselves and more time building the life they actually want, because they know that wealth grows best when it grows quietly, and the less attention their money receives, the more control they keep over both their finances and their future. Habit 3. They invest before they spend. Most people spend first and invest whatever is left at the end of the month, if anything is left at all. Secretly wealthy people reverse that habit completely. The moment money enters their account, the first question they ask is not what they can buy, but what they can own. They understand that every dollar has two possible futures. It can either disappear through consumption or continue working through ownership. While the average person becomes excited about a new phone, a bigger television, or another luxury purchase, quietly wealthy people become excited about assets that will continue creating value long after the excitement excitement of buying something new has disappeared. They understand that temporary pleasure fades quickly, but ownership continues producing opportunities for years. Sometimes the smartest purchase is the one that nobody else notices because it quietly increases freedom instead of attracting attention. They know that financial independence is not built by spending what remains after investing. It is built by investing before spending becomes a habit. Over time, those small, consistent decisions begin separating them from everyone around them, because while others collect possessions, they quietly collect ownership, and eventually ownership begins paying for the lifestyle that everyone else is still trying to finance. Habit 4. They think in decades, not days. One of the biggest differences between ordinary people and those who quietly build lasting wealth is the way they think about time. Most people make financial decisions based on what will make them happy. This weekend, this month, or this year. Secretly wealthy people think very differently. They ask themselves how a decision will affect their life 10, 20, or even 30 years from now. They understand that real wealth is almost never created overnight. It is built through patience, consistency, and the willingness to delay immediate pleasure for future freedom. While other people constantly chase quick profits, viral investments, and instant success, quietly, wealthy people remain focused on long-term ownership. They know that businesses grow, investments compound, relationships become valuable, and reputations are built over time. They are not distracted by temporary trends because they understand that trends come and go, but strong financial foundations continue producing results for decades. This long-term mindset also protects them from emotional decisions. They rarely panic during difficult times because they know every economic cycle eventually changes. They understand that the greatest fortunes in history were not built by people who reacted to every headline, but by those who stayed committed to a vision that extended far beyond the present moment. While others are trying to become rich by next year, secretly wealthy people are building a life that their children and grandchildren will benefit from long after they are gone. Habit 5. They let their results speak instead of themselves. One of the clearest signs of someone who is secretly wealthy is how little they talk about their success. They do not constantly remind people how much they earn. They do not feel the need to mention every investment they make or every business they own because they understand that talking about success never creates success. It only creates attention. Truly wealthy people allow time and results to tell their story. They spend more energy building than explaining. While other people announce every new goal, every exciting opportunity, and every future plan, quietly wealthy people remain focused on taking action. They know that words can impress people for a few moments, but results earn respect for a lifetime. They also understand that silence protects them from unnecessary opinions, doubts, and expectations, because the more people know about your plans, the more likely they are to influence your thinking. Whether that influence comes from jealousy, fear, or negativity, it creates distractions that serve no purpose. Instead of looking for validation, they look for progress. Instead of chasing applause, they chase freedom. They understand that real confidence never needs an audience, because when your financial life is built on strong decisions, consistent discipline, and long-term thinking, you no longer need other people to believe in your success. Your results become impossible to ignore, and your life quietly speaks louder than anything you could ever say. Conclusion. Real wealth is rarely loud. It does not announce itself through expensive possessions, constant attention, or endless attempts to impress strangers. Instead, it reveals itself through quiet habits repeated consistently over many years. The people who build lasting financial freedom understand that looking wealthy is very different from becoming wealthy. They protect their privacy. They invest before they spend. They think in decades instead of days, and they allow their achievements to speak for themselves. Because they know that money is not meant to buy attention, it is meant to buy freedom. The next time you meet someone who appears completely ordinary, do not assume you know their financial story. They may own more than you could ever imagine, because true wealth often hides behind simplicity. The people who have mastered money no longer need to prove anything to anyone. They simply continue building quietly while the rest of the world competes for attention. Remember, fake wealth demands to be noticed, but real wealth is comfortable remaining invisible, and perhaps that is the greatest sign that someone is secretly wealthy.